Oh, man. I was just typing a really important email, and
that feels unlikely.
Probably not.
Hi, guys.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
This is our 55th episode.
It is absolutely.
Thursday, June 20th, 2018, live and interactive here on Mixer.
And also dressed to the nines.
I have to say, we look great.
With our Overwatch gear.
Perfect season.
Perfect season.
Perfect season.
I was on Wind Watch there for a while, but no.
No, it's over. It's over. I was watching all that stuff. So FTL.
Anywho, FTL, what does it mean?
FTL? It means low latency interactivity. You interact with us as the show goes on in near real time.
Absolutely. Now, the esports world is, of course, constantly changing, much like myself, and it's also busier than ever, also like me. And since this show is for you, you get to decide what we talk about, cover, and, quite frankly, hype.
Oh my gosh, Kate, how do you do that? Well, you simply check out those voting options below, and you will see here below the window. That's right, we may be here on the desk, but this is your show. We'll have trivia, more videos to highlight, more interviews with people in the scene, and so much more.
More. So be sure to get your selection in if you want to hear about the latest from your favorite esports. Esports.
Okay, so interactivity is apparently enabled, according to what I've read. So if you wanna vote now, right now, you will look below. Oh, I see it. We got
the 4 choices are.
What are they?
I'll tell you when I was looking at the script.
The 4 choices are below for the next segment. You can check them out. We got Overwatch League, we got Counter-Strike, we got Northwest Majors or Call of Duty. And don't let our jerseys make you choose Overwatch League. I'm sure we will cover that. So you guys choose. This is your opportunity. 30 seconds to vote. You only get to choose once per segment, and the results are updated in real time. You can see those bars moving back and forth.
I just updated the script.
And if
you guys choose Counter-Strike.
Oh, okay.
I'm so glad I got that done. Sorry, guys.
Oh, man.
Woo! It's just, hello. Welcome.
Okay, so anyways, Counter-Strike, I know you love CSGO, so why don't you take it?
That's really wonderful because, quite frankly, I'm going to have to make up something at the very end of this. This weekend saw some major CSGO competition across the world. Na'Vi took down VP. The FaZe phased out. Take 2. And the FaZe clan phased off to tier CSGO. Oh, wow, I don't even know what happened here.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, let's start with CSGO Asia Championships.
It's messing you up right now.
I also wrote it, so I can't even handle this.
I know. It's just too good.
It's just too good. Now, it may have started out as VP's game with early wins on Dust 2, but that was where VP's veteran squad would finish their winning streak. Navi's momentum kicked in on Nuke with a 5-0 lead that included a 1v3 win provided by former coach and now player Zeus. And though VP put some solid triple and quad kills by Pasha, Biceps, and Bilali, the Poles couldn't take control and finish their time on Navi's map, pick 4-6.
Now, it was more of the same on the third and final map, Train, which I like, by the way, and mean that almost literally Zeus clutched a 1v3 scenario. VP rose to the occasion with a push in the 15th round, only to be slaughtered handedly 6-16. That is a handed slaughter.
It's not the worst we've ever seen, but it's quite good.
It's no Shanghai Dragon.
I mean, listen.
So clinching the title and once again cementing the idea that VP are sadly not what they used to be.
Well, it's like, I think, yeah. Sorry. They're great, don't get me wrong. I'm sad Tabs isn't there anymore, but different Tabs. But do not dismay old school CSGO fans, for another veteran team did fight their way to victory this week. Let's see if we're already on there. Yes, we are. In the land of yellow and green.
Brazil.
Brazil played host to ESL 1 Belo Horizonte.
Ooh,
I think that's how you say it.
And you rolled your R's correctly.
I don't know if it's correct, but I think that's what it is.
Sounded great.
And what a party it absolutely was.
And
why is that Irish? I don't know. I have said it once and I shall say it 1,000 times, everybody. Bucket list esports lands for me. 1, Gears in Mexico City. 2, CSGO in Brazil. A girl can dream. Or Katowice, I'm good with that too, but Brazil, right up there.
Now, victories can come in all shapes and sizes. Just look at this shape and size and you can know. But in the case of FaZe, found themselves seemingly scraping by for every frag they could get their hands on. The elder statesman of the CSGO scene, an all-around power group of FaZe, but one last adversary, wow.
I may not have spelled that correctly, so that might not be your fault.
Yeah, adversary, to conquer before they could take the lead from Astralis. In the race for the Intel Grand Slam and its cool $1 million prize, the team was the ever-present but rarely extraordinarily Mouse Sports.
I know, that was kind of mean, but I also kind of... It's like always the bridesmaid, never the bride for Mouse Sports.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. It all started with Inferno as the veteran squad took the early lead with a 16-6 win. But Mouse Sports wasn't going down quietly. Oh, no. It's always the quiet one. And in that case, it was Chris J. who put up the solid numbers on Cash and Train, helping Mouse Sports force FaZe to stare down the barrel of a 1-2 deficit. But then came Mirage, and it was here that Navi's Guardian proved he had what it took to bring home the gold, kicking ass and taking names with a 15 KD differential and a 1.72 rating.
Wow, that's great.
The win on Mirage would force this back-and-forth contest to a thrilling Game 5 on Dust 2. Let me take this. As you can see, I did not finish it. Here's what happened. FaZe 1, Dust 2. All you need to know, handily, and I believe the score was 16-10, a Game 5 for the ages.
That sounds awesome.
Solancha, way to go, FaZe. Way to upseed Astralis in the Grand Slam. The Intel Grand Slam is a little bit like the Triple Crown.
Yeah, and I guess, honestly, we were one of the things, if you caught one of the interviews during Intel, during the E3, I actually interviewed Intel, and they said they have some very good Intel Extreme Master news coming up. So I am excited. So there's lots of good in the future. Speaking of future, we want to know what you want to see next. I think, right? Yes.
Sometimes I feel like a cartoon character.
You do. You have a very Felix the Cat / Ren and Stimpy
I think I also,
/ Simpsons.
It's the weird hair thing I've got going on here right now. It's very like mop-esque. Anyway,
it's great. No,
let's talk about what you guys want to hear,
What do
which
you wanna hear about?
is perfect given our current wardrobe selection. Currently heading our top.
Overwatch.
Oh,
League?
just kidding.
Oh, Call of Duty.
You guys didn't want us
back.
to have. You know what?
It's the game that won't go away.
That is like herpes.
Man. Wow, that just happened. I feel dirty.
Hey, I didn't drive an F-bomb this time, so let's call it a day.
Dirty. I don't.
Well, you know what? I feel like kicking ass and taking names, so let me read off what this says. Call of Duty World League, also known as CWL, just held their 6th major open event in Anaheim, California this last weekend in the infamous Anaheim Convention Center. Why is it infamous? I don't know. Known to be one of the most hyped events in the Call of Duty esports community, this event brought in the teams, the fans, and the prizes in full swing with I like to say more than instead of over. More than 150 teams competing for their share of $200,000 cash prize pool.
Yeah, which that's pretty legit.
Like to swim in that.
Yeah. And I think maybe the reason Anaheim is infamous is because it's so many, like that's where BlizzCon is. I mean, it's a fair...
VidCon, I believe, is down there right now.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about those people? But
nobody.
Anyway, nobody. But anyway, so CWL Anaheim is the final open event for the Call of Duty World War II season, meaning that it's the last chance for teams to gain player points and earn themselves a chance to enter the Stage 2 playoffs leading to the World Championships.
Now, all teams started out in pool play, as that usually happens.
That's the way it works.
Where they fight for position in the seeding bracket. Now, the winners of the pool are entered into a double elimination open bracket, which eventually leads to the championship game. This is something you should know.
Yes.
Basically, a whole lot of brackets and a whole lot of Call of Duty. So, needless to say, it was crazy action-packed 2 days for players and spectators alike. So, let's dive into this right now.
Okay, so the North American teams brought the strongest performances overall, with Ghost Gaming beating out Spanish side Heretics and Enigma 6 beating out the Europeans Brash. While none of these teams made it past the third round or into the finals, they all gained CWL Pro points, which is important.
Very important.
Which will give them an edge in the upcoming 2018 CWL Last Chance qualifier in the coming months. So not a total loss.
Sorry, I just realized that Ethan in chat said we better choose the Overwatch League or he'll unplug the studio internet. Sorry, Ethan. We feel the same way. Now, the big talk of the town was the famous Rise Nation, who have won the previous two CWL championships.
I watched that one last time.
Absolutely, and came to Anaheim with their eyes on the prize evermore. But they had their work cut out for them because Red Reserve was right up on their tails all the way to the grand final, a rematch of the previous finals championship in Hotlanta, but 1 year ago.
Now, the best-of-5 series began with Red taking a 250-220 victory on Saint-Marie-du-Mont in Hardpoint. The next match gave Red another victory, with the crowd going wild at the potential upset and dethroning of the former champions, Rise. In the third match, Red Reserve held a successful lead for a while, up until the end, when Rise Nation came back and took the victory at the match, as well as sweeping the remaining 2 games, surprise, surprise, and bringing Rise Nation to yet another victory. But at least it was a good final.
Sure.
Now, big congrats to Rise Nation for their 3rd victory in a row. Man, that's like...
And are we seeing the new optic?
Yeah, well, or Penta Sports when it comes to... I mean, even though they did lose at Rainbow Six, but still. So a little bit of a
Perhaps
regime.
a dynasty in the
Yeah, a little
making?
dynasty like the New York Excelsior.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Anyway,
yeah.
Go ahead, you do it.
No, you do it.
Okay, for more info about the Call of Duty World League, be sure to check out callofduty.com/esports and make sure to follow at Call of Duty and at Call of Duty World League on Twitter for all the latest news about upcoming events.
All the latest
They're
news.
big on the internets.
On the interwebs.
On the interwebs. They are big.
That's the one.
Yes.
Let's see. What else do you want to talk
good
about?
With our jerseys.
We do look so good.
We're so good.
Guys, you know what? I'm a bandwagon person. I was on this after loss number 20. So
Okay, but we should vote. While
Okay.
you're waiting. It looks like
Hey,
Overwatch is going in
look
there.
at Overwatch coming in hot.
I think
because Ethan actually did say he couldn't find who. Oh gosh, there's a lot of
I'm
people.
guessing what
wanting
happened
to-
is that Ethan really went and created 2,000 bot accounts and just basically is just voting. with
I
all his
was
bot
wondering where he was yesterday.
accounts. I'm pretty sure he was in his sickness, was basically making bot accounts. Anyway, the people have chosen. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. The Overwatch League regular season has officially come to an end. And boy, I tell you, it's been a wild, really? It's not been all that wild at all. It's been pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's true. Now, here for all you newbies out there, here's a brief recap of the epicness that is the Overwatch League. Now, the Overwatch League is the first ever global esports league that is made out of city-based teams from all around the world, from cities like Shanghai. Sorry, Dragons, better luck next year is what it says. You know what? You are your own rainbow, and I will wear your colors until you win.
Like pride.
I will
with
wear
pride.
them with pride until you win. All the way down to Los Angeles. Way to go, Valiant, and everywhere in between.
Now that we've reached the end of the regular season, each team's total wins and losses were added up to determine where they got seeded in the postseason playoffs. Sorry, Dallas Fuel.
I know.
After playoffs, we'll head into the grand finales with the winning team receives the Overwatch League trophy along with that $1 million cash prize.
So for anyone who's been following the league knows that New York Excelsior, they're already locked into a spot for the playoffs and an uncontested. No, uncontested is a good word.
Yeah, dude, it's like they're ahead by like what?
They're like it's just
64 games.
too many points. It's just crazy.
ridiculous, yeah.
But it was still a heated week 5 as top teams fought to be champions of stage 4. Not to mention all other teams fighting for last-minute playoff positions.
Now,
I think it was
LA
like 4 or 5. That was like.
Yeah. Nah. So LA Gladiators needed just one win to clinch a spot in the playoffs. And luckily for them, they were up against the Shanghai Dragons. Shutting them out 4-0 and giving Shanghai Dragons the perfect season of losses and sealing LA's spot in the playoffs.
True. It's true. Now, the Houston Outlaws, I was reading, Smurf69 was like, look at the bright side, Kate. Garcia of the Shanghai Dragons made the starting Pacific team in the All-Stars match in August, and that is something I appreciate, too.
So, anyway, by the way, we can skip the Houston Outlaws because there isn't a single person in this chat who likes the Houston Outlaws.
And that is what we're going to talk about. The Houston Outlaws found themselves needing 2 wins to get a chance at the playoffs. Things look good after they beat Philly Fusion.
Oh.
So sad. In their first match, however, they lost their second match to the unstoppable New York Excelsior, disqualifying them from the playoffs.
Rip Houston. Rip Ethan.
Oh, look at that, Valiant.
Yeah, similarly, Seoul Dynasty also needed 2 wins to make it to the playoffs. They needed any wins to make it to the playoffs. Oh, never mind. Seoul Dynasty. However, they were no match for the LA Gladiators, who beat them out for playoff position.
It's true. Now, when it came for the Stage 4 final match, it was no surprise when the 2 most dominant teams, New York and LA Valiant, not Gladiators, took the stage in a heated back and forth with some crazy big plays. LA Valiant surprised fans, and quite frankly me, and the world by beating the seemingly unstoppable New York Excelsior, making them Stage 4 champs and placing them in a strong position going into the playoffs.
Now,
Huge congrats to them.
Yeah, and I'm not usually a big fan of any LA team, but I was really grateful for the win over New York.
I need something.
And I'm pretty sure they're going to pay for it in the playoffs because, New York will say something like, it's revenge.
Oh, God, I remember.
You remember
yeah,
that?
they're
So
very much
happen.
into that, which makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like David and Goliath in a lot of cases, and Goliath's like, I'm going to take advantage. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop making that
Okay,
joke.
so to say the last 6 months of Overwatch League has been amazing is a real understatement. While only 6 of the teams will be heading into the playoffs, one of them is London. It was a wild journey watching all of these amazing competitors bring such amazing performances to this league.
Now, big shout out to everyone who competed in regular season and the fans who made it all happen. Can't wait to see what's in store for next year. Maybe Team Seattle.
What would we call them? Like, would be like the Seattle No.
No.
And you are banned from the studio.
Banned.
You are banned from the studio. I think it's like I'd like to get like I'd like to see chat.
I want the Seattle
team.
Geeks.
Seattle Geeks. No,
I know, probably not
I'm
that.
banning you two. Yeah, that is also a terrible idea.
Too soon.
Yeah. Okay. So fingers crossed, Team Seattle with a better name than everybody here, who are apparently not creative at coming up with names.
Hey, Chad, if you can come up with a name, we'll read it.
We'll read it. Yeah, we'll think it's good. But we can't get too sentimental yet, though, because now it's time for playoffs. Playoffs will go from July 11th to July 21st and eventually to the grand final match, so plenty more Overwatch League to be seen, folks. Make sure to check out OverwatchLeague.com and download the Overwatch League app and tune in live to watch their VODs of previous matches.
Yeah, exactly. You could also tune in live at twitch.tv/Overwatch League for all of your Overwatch needs. Also at Overwatch League on the Twitters.
On the Twitters.
Or just follow one of us, and I guarantee we will tweet about it in the near future.
Yeah, Jeff Rubenstein's also.
Oh, yes, Rubenstein.
Another
And I was going to say another Philly Fusion fan.
Yeah, he's another Philly Fusion fan. So
Say that
good.
3 times fast.
And apparently, so they're selling the finals are in Barclay.
Barclay in Brooklyn.
And it sold out in 30 minutes.
I am not surprised.
So there you go. So if you didn't get tickets, rip.
R.I.P.
Rip.
But hey, the Seattle Lemurs, really, Tabs?
Wow. Seattle Lemurs?
Those aren't even indigenous. Seattle Sparks, Chopper Games, I like it.
Oh, but wait, aren't the Sparks, isn't that our hockey team?
Dragons are indigenous to Shanghai. Has anyone ever seen any movie ever?
That's the only place I've seen dragons.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think what's going on now? What are we doing now?
Seattle Reign is Malik. Seattle Reign is. It was lovely hosting with you, but Seattle Reign is obviously isn't that a women's soccer?
I don't remember.
But it's spelled Reign REIGN.
Oh,
he spelled it. He spelled it like this.
Oh, so I don't know. There's got to be a good name. Apparently.
Seattle Spotters, Seattle Superstars, Seattle Tryhards.
Oh, I like that one. That's probably the most.
That is
realistic.
actually what I will call them. Anyway, sorry. We have what's that, Lennox? Oh, trivia.
Oh, trivia.
Sorry, getting
trivia
yelled at.
Next, sorry, we were just having fun time talking with our audience and coming up with great names. Okay,
Seattle
so
Gladiators.
Trivia.
Come on, Thready Nickel.
There already is no. So we are connecting. We are getting ready for trivia. Make sure. What did you say? Get your
controllers warmed up.
Do you have it right by now?
No.
How many times you've had to practice that?
No, I do not.
Okay, get ready. Quiz is starting soon. Are you ready?
Right now. Here we go. Which team won the Overwatch Stage 4 playoffs? Was it Los Angeles Valiant? Was it New York Excelsior, Houston Outlaws, or Boston Uprising?
Hey, I know which one Ethan's voting for, and he'd be wrong.
The Seattle Why Do People Live Here? Seattle Sleepless. Oh, look at guys. We're doing some great work here. The answer is obviously LA Valiant.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
We actually shot. You know how you know? Because we showed video of the confetti cannon going off.
Which I'm pretty stoked about, right? It was not New York, and that makes me happy.
That's nice. Yeah, I mean, listen. Give credit where credit is due. New York is a fantastic, incredible team. They are a powerhouse.
They're all native New Yorkers too.
Really?
No.
They're all from Korea.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what? Wait, hold the phone. At any rate, well done, New York, but let's new blood.
So which team recently traded player Formal to Luminosity? Was it FaZe, Optic, Cloud9, or Evil Geniuses?
So this is for Call of Duty.
This is for COD. Which one?
Formal.
Actually, you got to do it fast. Did you get it right? Yep. I think many people got it there.
Luminosity?
No, yep. I selected the not right person. It was not FaZe, by the way. It was
I was gonna. Okay, I had it in my head. Okay. Well.
But not having the answer, saying you had it in your head and not answering.
I know, because I didn't want to look stupid.
Thing. Oh, I look dumb all the time.
Too late.
So it's okay.
one more pregunta.
Oh, 2 more questions. Okay,
2 more.
One.
Whoa.
This one's CS:GO. You take it.
Yeah, which team won the CS:GO Asia Championship competition? Was it Navi, Virtus Pro, Tyloo, or Team Envious?
Ooh, who is it?
I know.
Okay, well, answer.
I can't answer, then I'll be on the leaderboard.
No.
It was Navi.
You know I haven't seen in a long time?
Who?
Is Lennox. Lennox hasn't been on the leaderboard for a while.
Wow, it's almost like
we got rid of him. And
that's
his
right.
ability to do
it was Navi. Not as Vincere. I can't remember. I just call him Navi. I'm not great at pronouncing that.
Okay, there we go. Last question.
Seattle Sprouts.
Belo.
Which team won the ESL 1 Belo Horizonte competition?
Who is it? I'm going to vote for Liquid, but even though they didn't even
They
do it.
definitely did not
They
do
did
it.
not win.
But I will tell you that Mouse Sports and FaZe Clan were in the final.
Finals. but we know who it was. Wasn't we?
We do know who it
We
was.
do who was the winner.
It's Vanova's face.
That's right. Very good.
The elder statesman, they call
Das
him.
gut.
That's what I called it.
Das good. Look,
Das Guten.
it's like she knows what she's talking about.
No.
I'm impressed. Okay.
Oh, moving right along.
Okay, what is next? I was going to say was ist das, but what is next? What are we doing
Is
next?
that was is das mean next?
Yes, what is next?
See, now, yeah, that was actually, I like that.
There we go. We are... Oh,
More segments.
More segments. Okay, so that means that we're going to turn on interactive, and we're going to find out what you guys want to talk about.
You know what? We should probably speak esports. We got Forza Motorsport 7, which is
which
the
they were
RC
here.
RLS.
They were here.
Yeah, I know they had
were here. They
their
were-
racing championship.
Yeah, I was like tired from E3, or I would have gone.
Dude, I know. I was in San
feel
Francisco.
bad.
Otherwise, I would have been there.
Dragon
Northwest
Ball
Major.
Fighters.
I got two of the FGC on the board here.
Lol.
Northwest Majors. I'm assuming that's FGC.
Yeah.
And ooh,
LOL. LOL.
ooh,
Not to be with laugh out loud.
no.
No, that would not
We
be
do
the
not
same.
laugh
What did we
about
vote
LOL.
for? What did we vote for? I think it's going to be Forza.
Ooh,
Forza.
Racing Championship.
Oh, we still got 5 seconds.
So maybe not.
So it's still
now
Forza.
it's definitely
Hey, congratulations. We knew what it was. We could see into the future. The Forza Racing Championship 2018 Series 1 playoffs took place last weekend on June 16th and June 17th, right next door in Seattle, Washington. That's like right next door, a.k.a. the home of Turn 10 Studios.
Technically, the home of Turn 10 Studios is Redmond, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But they have a nice.
We're not going to get technical.
They have a lovely studio down there. For those new to the Forza RC, the 2018 season is split into 2 series, which consists of 4 rounds that end with a live playoff event.
So the Series 1 playoffs brought in some of the best drivers from all over the globe to compete for the Series 1 championship title. A chunk of a $75,000 prize pool.
Not bad.
Plus it moves players a step closer to the Forza Racing World Championships in October.
And I believe that is in London, but I could be wrong about that.
yeah.
Series 1 rounds took place in April and May, allowing the cream to rise to the top for the playoffs. 12 drivers came to compete, but only one could claim the prize. There were some familiar names, of course. Lage, who went into the competition in the number 2 global position. He's from G2 Esports, by the way.
That's true. However, drivers were eager to prove that while they may not be ranked as high as Lage, that meant nothing once they were on the track.
By the way, thank you, iPanda. My hair is awesome, and I appreciate it. And Looped Snail 520 Seattle Squids, I like it. Day 1 of the competition, Noble Box and Lightning came out strong, followed by Roadrunner, Hard, Mitch, and Velocivirus. Velocivirus. I think that's what it is. Velocivirus?
It's like
I can never-
Velociraptor, but with virus.
It's contagious. These guys traded places like it was nothing, showcasing just how close these races could get and how evenly matched these players' skills truly were. Lage fell further and further from the top, which is sad because I guess that guy is rad. I almost said something, but he's rad. While these drivers continued to elbow their way to the front of the pack.
Okay, so day 2, Box starting out strong again with Hard and Roadrunner on his heels. Roadrunner threatened his run quite a few times, but Box wasn't ready to settle for second place. He eventually pulled ahead without looking back, earning him the win, the title of Series 1 champ, and a nice chunk of change. Congratulations to Noble Box on his well-earned victory.
Absolutely. Now, Series 2 kicks off mid-July, and registration is open for drivers worldwide. So if you think you have what it takes, prove it.
Yeah. So to learn more about Forza, view the VODs, or check out future events, head to ForzaRC.com. And for up-to-the-minute news, follow them on the Twitterverse.
The Twitterverse.
At ForzaRC.
Noble Box, well done. They actually shot that over in Fremont, in their near
Oh,
us here in
nice,
Seattle.
nice,
That was
nice,
pretty
nice.
good.
Okay, so we're about to do some IRL stuff.
Yes,
aren't
we are. In fact, and I think we're actually going to go to the Skype call. Is that correct, Lennox? Yeah, IRL. So, and this will be our fabulous, our Frank from there it is. Now, one of the goals of the show is to highlight the amazing people and events, of course, that happen in the esports and competitive gaming space.
Now, every week on this segment, IRL Esports will try to feature a different personality in the scene at this time. We have a fellow commentator joining us today on the show.
Now, this week will be the CVR World Cup Spring Season Finals. I've been watching some of it, and it's actually freaking rad. An event in Vancouver, Canada, which will showcase people who like to ride bikes and compete against other individuals with like-minded goals. Other people like to ride bikes. For today's segment, we have the CEO of, and apologies, Frank, I'm going to totally botch this, Cycligent Physical Esports. Did I get that right, Frank?
We're
Oh,
on.
nice.
Thank
That's
you so
correct.
much. Cycligent, well, welcome. And obviously you're joining us on the show to talk more about the finals of the spring season that's concluding this weekend.
So
Yep, very exciting times with regards to that. And all the athletes are arriving, so that's a lot of fun as well.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
Frank, who are you? I think we have many a viewer who would like to know a little bit more about yourself.
So I am a video gamer from way back, as in like when Mario was created.
Nice.
So the Wayback Machine there, but video gamer from way back, software engineer turned into software entrepreneur. Because back then you couldn't actually earn a living at video games, unlike today. And then what we did was we saw the space expanding. Zwift created a platform, and we said it's time for physical esports, which is the combination of the virtual and the physical worlds.
Oh, wow.
And
cool.
that is absolutely one of the coolest aspects of this. So today we're going to talk about CVR World Cup. First off, what is the CVR World Cup? We know it's about cycling in your home against other people, but fill us in on what this community is all about.
Well, I think it's kind of like sort of real player one, right? It's people on their own bikes, and they get digitized, if you will, not quite as thoroughly as Tron, but more on that level, and injected into the game. So you see your avatar in the game, but it's your physical aspect. How hard you're going is how hard you go in the game. So if we were to look at something, like Fortnite, rather than moving with your controller, you're actually going to pedal hard in order to move faster, and then you're going to play some of the game dynamics, drafting and whatnot in the game in that manner. So that's the basics of it. So it's the sort of new genre of esports, if you will, where the physical activity is paramount as well. One of the nice things about it is if you sort of go and spectate cycling, the guys whiz by you at 30 miles an hour, and you get to see them for a few seconds. What we get to do is highlight them, have cameras on them the whole time, interview them while they're racing. It's a fun activity.
So I'm going to go off a little bit because you mentioned Ready Player One, which I think a lot of people have actually seen.
Yep.
That particular movie. What does a rig look like for people who are going to compete in an event like this?
So they take their real bike typically, and then the rig that they take the back wheel off, and they hook that up to a machine. Some people have some devices out. You can take your front wheel off, and you'll move up and down as well. So in the game, when the road goes up, you feel that in your legs. The bike might even actually move as well if you buy those particular portions of the rig. And if you go downhill, it gets easier to pedal. If you get behind people, that sort of thing. And it's just a device, usually fairly heavy, that hooks you up and allows you to digitize your power.
Oh, wow.
Digitize your power. Frank, if you don't use that in some regard at some point, I feel like you just wrote your own marketing plan.
Pretty much. I like that a lot.
But let's talk about this weekend, because obviously you mentioned it marks the start of the spring finals for the CVR World Cup in Vancouver. Broadcast on Mixer.com/CVR World World Cup. It cut off. Okay. CVR World Cup starts at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 a.m. Pacific, Saturday and Sunday. What are these riders competing for? And give us a sense of what it means to them to be in this race. These races?
So they compete over 8-week season. It actually extends a little bit to 12 weeks because there's a postseason where they do some head-to-head stuff. But they compete for 8 weeks at home from all over the world. We have 8 global zones across the world. If you win a zone, you get to come to a CVR World Cup in real life event. There's 3 of those a year. This one coming up this weekend is CVR World Cup Vancouver. Basically, they're competing for lots of money. So in a true esports tradition, prize purses are there. And then obviously the glory of, being the best in the virtual community, or in this case, the combination of the physical and virtual communities.
Okay. So it looks like you guys have been doing this for a long time, and the circuit seems pretty successful. What should our viewers know about the circuit, and what do you, know about this circuit that you think they should know? Like, what are the hidden nuggets, so to speak?
I think the hidden nuggets are the space is expanding rapidly in terms of physical esports. I think you'll see, in addition to cycling, which you see now, you'll see running and rowing and other types of physical esports joining the genre. And this requires a little bit more equipment, right? Is probably the first thing to note. So there's a little bit more of an investment because you go out and you buy that rig, right? It's not just your controller that you hook up with. So you go out and spend anywhere from $500 to $1,000 on your rig, and then you can get hooked up. You want to check out Zwift.com for more information with regards to that, so you can figure out how to sort of hook up to the game. Great community is one thing to understand. Hardcore. Sort of fervent people within the community, the racing, and it's a little bit different community in that you sort of have your fitness fanatics, I'll call them, right? Everybody's talking about how to eat and, shave a pound here and get a little bit stronger there. So a little bit different vibe in some ways. But we'll talk a little bit later on about that. I think that's one of the things that makes this an interesting space as well.
Okay, so final question. I guess you've already mentioned if you'd like to get the rig yourself and engage that way. How does a spectator get involved in this season? How do they go about doing that?
Yeah.
Well, so I thought we were talking about the players, and I'm glad you slapped me upside the head there with the
no,
the
this
whole
is
reason
good.
we're here, which is for people to watch this. But what's great about this is, check this out on Mixer. Mixer.com/CVR World Cup, like you said, and take a look at what's different about this is you're going to see the athletes. They're going to be sweating. They're going to be grimacing.
Yeah.
You're going to see them breathing hard, going incredibly hard next to the game and the avatars as you see them playing. You'll see their avatars. When they stand up and sprint, you'll see their avatars stand up and sprint and that sort of thing. So, really great to watch. It is just a different thing, more connection, I think, with the human element of it, and a little bit less gameplay than maybe you're used to in League of Legends or Dota or Rocket or something like that. But much more physical pain, actual physical pain that you'll see. So something to take a look at and watch.
Physical pain makes for good TV, is all I'm saying. I've watched this. It's addictive to watch because Frank's right. Absolutely, you do have these picture-in-picture. You've got some great commentary too, Frank. That has to be mentioned because I can only imagine what it's like to commentate, to cast a bike race, and yet they make it exciting, they make it interesting, and they more importantly translate it because it is actually interesting. And you do see those people picture-in-picture, and you're like, holy God, he's go. It really is addictive.
It does sound like a lot of the same conversations that we have as hosts too, right? Like how do we shed pounds and all that sort of stuff. It's very similar.
Very similar. We're very into fitness.
We are nowhere near as awesome as this. Okay, so our favorite question on the show is if you could tell skeptical people one thing to know about esports or competitive gaming and why they should get into it, what would you say?
Well, this is where it gets a little bit unique. In terms of the physical esports. So first of all, I'd say for esports, do something you love, right? And you can actually, make a living at it. You can get a scholarship now in esports. I know Boise State is offering scholarships. Lots of fun, lots of stuff on the collegiate level. Obviously, there's beyond that. They're in broadcasting and streaming. We're all looking to make a living in esports, and so that has changed. And back from when I did video games, and I was just somebody who was sitting on the couch and being lazy. And that's the other part about physical esports. You actually get exercise, right? You actually get intense exercise, and that becomes beneficial as well. So you get to do something you love, and it's very beneficial as well.
That's awesome. No, that is really cool, and I like that crossover. I think it's funny because I think, like you said, a lot of that stuff is going to start to show up. It's starting to make a bigger splash there, and it's definitely a way for us to meld and actually bring in audiences that may have a stereotype when they think about gamers, right? And taking that fitness part and mixing the two together, and actually in some ways making what we do a little bit healthier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, Thank you so much, Frank. And if people want to find you and your work and all that sort of stuff, how do they find you? And do you have any special shout outs? Anybody you'd like to give that old rep out to?
So I would say that find us on cvrworldcup.com, and a special shout out to Chris Haskell and Beth York, who are the people who do the commentating, and Jesper Anker, actually, over from Denmark and the UK and Europe, will be broadcasting as well, commentating as well. So shout out to those guys who do a fantastic job.
Sweet,
Awesome.
sweet, sweet. Well,
Awesome.
Frank, thank you so much, and we'll be tuning in this weekend at the CVR World Cup.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
See ya.
See ya.
Whew. Okay, Lennox, what are we doing next? Are we talking to who I think we're talking to?
Let's do it. Yay!
Sorry. Here's the deal. I'm gonna go ahead and as he's coming up here, I'm gonna introduce him because I'm like, I've got it made in the shade right now. He's going to come here in the middle. He's a co-host of Nerf This, the podcast that, of course, I listen to on the regular, plus a Hearthstone caster for HCT.
HCT. TESPA, actually, right now.
That's
Yep.
true.
Okay.
Tournament he's chatting about today.
Really?
So, of course, he's going to talk to us a little bit about the Hearthstone
Alex.
Championship Tour Summer Championship that's starting on the 28th of June. Xeven, the man, the myth, the legend. Welcome to our humble abode here.
Yay!
I've been called a lot worse.
That's true.
That's good.
Ditto.
That's
It's
definitely
true.
good.
I'm actually glad I made it here. I got caught on the way here. I thought I was actually at the studio because I thought I saw you outside waving. But it was a car lot. It was one of these.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
Do you know how many times I have been told
the
that's
hair, it looks a lot like that too.
It
That's
is. It's so
true.
weird.
It's so true. I knew that's
But the
why those
irony
people
is-
look so familiar.
You
Sitting in the
muppet
lobby.
once.
Sitting in the lobby, I heard you from like 3 stories away.
I mean, that's
That's just Kate, and she has
that's
like a
just
radar
weird.
for people she likes. Like
It's
y'all,
true.
like she's like ah.
Hey. You know me. So exactly. So first off, tell us about your, where you are, who you are, what's your experiences, role with Nerf This. Give us your 411 on Xeven, on your esports. Just learn us some knowledge.
Yeah, so essentially, I've been doing Nerf This now for, I think we're
3
going
years?
in 3 years now. We're actually owned by eLeague, so we
Okay.
are on their payroll. They
Ely.
haven't figured it out yet.
It's fine.
So yeah, we've been doing that for a while. It was great. I mean, Brian and I spent like 6 months just studying, ramping up to get to jump into the space, and it's been a lot of fun. We focus a lot on just the scene as well, a lot of business stuff.
Yeah.
And so
It's
just
very
been great.
thoughtful. Part of the reason I like the podcast, it's usually about an hour and a half long-ish, but it's very thoughtful and you kind of need that commentary in the scene, and that would be what I would say.
Like good old thoughtful.
Yeah. She says it's very thoughtful. She's very
And thought-provoking, quite
there we
honestly.
go,
It
there we go,
depends
there
on
we
it
go.
depends
And
on when you get people started on things.
And then you're like, I'm really glad you drank on the show.
I am so glad because
Yeah.
I usually drink while I'm listening.
Oh, good.
Well, I think it's more than just when she's listening. So, speaking of podcasts, if you listen to the podcast or follow you on any social media, you know that you're a massive, and I love that. You are a massive Hearthstone fan, and recently got your chance to cast. Tell us about the experience. I mean, that's
Big deal!
That's a big deal.
That was
That's
huge.
a dream.
That was huge. Yeah. So essentially, at the beginning of this year, like I've been following Hearthstone Esports for like the longest time.
Yeah.
And so at the beginning of this year, I'm kind of decided this is going to be the year that I'm going to cast something, even if it's just a work tournament, anything, right?
You're like,
I
this
just
is the
wanted to do
year.
it.
This is your bucket list. Got
Yeah.
it.
And so I think it was right around the end of February, I came up where they had the whole contest of, so you think you can cast? And so every year prior, I'd missed it. And so this year I was like, all right, I'm going to do
You're
it.
doing it.
But the problem was, like, everybody I was supposed to do it with was either hired by Blizzard or working for TESPA and ineligible. So I literally had to put out a post on the forums saying, hey, here's my background. I drink, and then I
drink.
yeah,
hired.
and then let's
Hey, it is
let's do a
Tavern
cast.
Brawls, right? Like, there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that we ended up doing, and so I ended up spending like 30 hours working on this whole project, and
I was going
which
to
is
say
casting
boo-hoo,
it's
but
casting like a 7-minute game over and over for like 15 hours.
Yeah.
That's fun. But I ended up finding like 7 or 8 people to work with, and ended up winning, which is
That's
crazy. to me.
awesome. That is
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, absolutely. So let's talk next week.
Yes.
Because we've got a Hearthstone Championship, the Hearthstone Championship Tour.
ECT Summer Championships.
Yep, that's okay.
I'm here for you.
I appreciate it, Xeven, because I've made this known to him that
This is a drag show.
I'm not the biggest digital card game fan.
Who needs
They
it? right?
are. So let's talk. Tell me a little bit. Get me interested. I'm so sorry. I'm the worst, but it's true. Get me interested in what you're looking forward to next week when it comes to the competition.
And this actually isn't that hard. Hearthstone's amazing, and it should be very easy to get you interested. So anyway, make it look good.
I'll do my best.
No
right?
pressure.
Right? Yeah. Nobody told me how to do this. But so essentially, it's broken up into 4 different regions, right?
Sure.
You've got China, you've got the APAC region, you've got the Americas, which is North and South combined,
right.
And you also have obviously Europe. And so. So you kind of look at the different like narratives or the threads that are going on in the different regions. So in China, it's really hard because they kind of don't deal on the HCT points so much as the way that the rest of the world does. They have their own system.
Really?
So the people that are coming there are relatively like wild cards. You don't really know what to expect sometimes.
Pun intended.
Yeah. And so essentially, one of the people you need to look out for is Yu Yi. Yu Yi. Yeah.
This is what I
Yu
needed.
Yi is someone who has just dominated like the local scene there and has done very, very well. From Europe region, you look at Bunny Hopper, who's ex Virtus Pro and is now with SK. Virtus Pro was like a great team last year.
Yeah.
They had some just amazing talent with like Dr. Hippie and Nyman, and now they've kind of broken apart. He's with SK, and this might be his last year. He's finishing up his PhD, so he's just giving it a go. And
So he's
been
a
perpetually,
pro
like, top
plus
8.
a PhD candidate right now?
Yeah, right. I don't know how
I've done nothing with my life.
I think that's one of the awesome things about Hearthstone, though, right? It's like you don't have the same like post 24. You have to worry about Twitch. It's very brain intensive, a lot of memorization and stuff like that, plus knowing strategy, which actually why you can have much older players who.
And it's also 1v1, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but you can't be part of a franchise SK.
Oh yeah, I mean
VP
I mean I know a lot of the guys, like even like there's a lot of people in that scene who rep for teams. So.
Yeah, and so it's one of the things. One of the reasons why I really love it is because I'm one of those people just playing any game, kind of like a min maxer, and it's one of those games where you can take a deck and you kind of are constantly tweaking it to see what's works to your best advantage, and especially when it gets into like a tournament meta, it's very different than the ladder experience. And in some ways, some people argue, but there are different things that happen. So continue with the different regions, right? You got
it. You got it. I mean, or I'm actually really deferring to you because you're the professional here. Anyway, let's hear it.
In the APAC region, you have Tensoku, who is essentially a really well-known content creator, YouTuber there, and he's got a huge following. But he's trying to kind of make his competitive debut. Not so much of a debut. He's done that so far this year, but he's trying to get all the way to Worlds.
Yeah.
And then you also have Blood Trail, which is probably the coolest story of all of it. Is he's from Taiwan. He actually has never bought a pack of cards, or may have bought very few. He's a free-to-play player.
Really?
So he did like all arena, basically all the way.
So everything is earned through gold essentially, and he's made it all the way to this point. And he plays on the average of 90 games a day, and he plays it across 3 different servers. So he's constantly playing. Oh yeah.
Wow. So his ability to understand the field is out of control.
Yeah. It's really impressive. So he's one I think to watch.
Yeah.
And he's only been playing since January.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're playing 90 games a day, though,
you might.
You're going to get pretty good pretty quick.
Yeah, or you're going to lose a hand or something.
So the other thing too that's nice about Hearthstone, and I think you would ask this, is like honestly, Blizzard, like with every new expansion, the other two, the meta changes pretty dramatically. So even if you come in like, January is right before Ravenwood.
I was going to say, wasn't there an announcement today? Come to think of it, am I wrong about that? Am I totally wrong about that?
I don't think today.
Never mind. Just kidding.
The point is that they just released an expansion, which changed the meta. A lot of the other stuff went to wild, so it's pretty easy to go in. The good thing about that is you don't have to memorize near as many cards.
Oh, it's a new Hearthstone meta report.
Yeah.
That's not near as cool as what we thought you were going to sell.
One word off.
So, but so that's a cool thing about, like, you can actually have new players come in and actually learn the game because it's
old sets rotate out, you get new ones.
Yep.
And that was actually the scariest part of going in and casting for Blizzard the first time. It was the week after they dropped Witchwood, so nobody knew anything about the meta, including me, which is why I'm up at like 4 a.m. studying charts and like looking at everything, and then casting all day. Like,
and the
it was
cards
just crazy.
were pretty crazy for what that they added.
Yeah.
Like they've changed some. They had some pretty cool like overall like just cards and stuff that would be it was nuts. So it was fun for you.
Yeah. It's like no sleep for me. But honestly, I think one of the things that excites me most about this tournament is that the Americas probably have one of their best shots I think I've seen in a while.
How does the Americas region usually stack up against everybody? Like, what's the is there a powerhouse? Is it like Korea for LOL? Is like
no, I mean I think it's usually
evenly?
you have like a lot of Brazil candidates or Canada. Canada's actually not represented this time. But you do have, I think there's 2 from North America, 1 from Argentina, and 1 from Brazil. And Dog, which is he's kind of made his competitive return. I think back in like 2016, he was like really, really competitive, well known. Since then, he's mostly just been streaming and doing content creation stuff. and now he's right in probably one of the leading of the pack, so to speak. No pun intended, actually. But yeah, so with other than that, you've got Killin' All Day, who I've had drinks with and dinner with, and he's actually a really, really cool guy. Simply because he takes it, he rolls with the punches, because everybody kind of just makes fun of him for always being the ninth place. He always misses, and he almost missed
that's not even ninth place. That's
your
like
favorite kind of people.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna leave this right
He's got
here.
a perfect season.
Yeah.
Does he? Never.
So the hashtag YoCad was all about him, the year of Killin' All Day, because he actually made it to a playoffs this time.
Oh, so he wasn't the bridesmaid anymore.
No, he almost was. But went for the Swiss system. Went for the Swiss system. I think eking him through, but he made it, and he was actually he made it through the playoffs and did really well. And then
awesome.
Reyes from Brazil, who I think might actually take it. I think he's my favorite for it.
Is that your? I was going to ask who your your number one horse
there's
is.
stuff behind me.
There
I
is
move a lot.
stuff behind it. That's okay.
Yeah, don't trip on the light.
So anyways,
It'll illuminate the fall.
Reyes from you were just giving the story before, and I was just reenacting it. But Reyes from Brazil actually is the only person to bring Warrior to this tournament, and he tweaked it a lot. And I'm a big fan of Quest Warrior, or Taunt Warrior, whatever you want to call it. And he tweaked it a little bit so that it's kind of says, I don't care about aggro, which is a standard way of doing Quest Warrior. He says, I'm going to make it faster and gear it more towards that control matchup. And he made the bet that people wouldn't bring aggro decks.
Yeah.
And he really lucked out because there was only 2 people who brought it. One of them being Killin' All Day, and I think the other one was Turna from EU. So the rest of the field brought really greedy control decks.
Oh, nice.
And he brought this kind of even greedier control deck, but against control. So it was a good call.
What 2 aggro decks did he do? Is it Hunters and was it a Hunter or was it Warlock or?
So for Killin' All Day, they primarily was kind of like the token druid. I believe he's doing like even shaman. He did bring the only off one was actual and even warlock, and it wasn't Hunter. I think he might have brought. These were just released like 3 hours ago. He might have actually brought Rogue was his other one. Something a little more aggressive in his lineup than most. Yeah.
Well, see, this is one of the many reasons that we have someone like Seven on to learn me specifically some knowledge, and so you can bro out.
I like Hearthstone. Like in and of itself, it's just one of those games that, like, I mean, you can continue to go back if you fall behind. Like I said, they're always changing the meta. I really love that team. And so you just really can't go wrong. And
I can see the changing of the meta being really intriguing. Plus, since it is a 1v1, you're not dealing with roster shuffle. Well, sorry, you can be, obviously. But there is that dynamic of 1v1 that's really fascinating with the changing of the meta all the time.
And they're experimenting with some of the team formats as well. So you have like a group of 3 people playing, and so everybody gets like a specific class. And so therefore, if you get knocked out, you can't play that class or that deck anymore. So it's kind of this, we did it at the end of TESPA, and we were afraid it was going to be like all day doing like the best of 11, essentially. And it turned out to be really, really neat because there's even more strategy too. Is like, who plays which deck better, who is a better pilot of a deck. And when that person, again, it's 3 people collectively playing it with you. Yeah. So you're all like side by side. And then when that person loses, they have to like exit the stage. So now you're down to like 2 brains versus 3. So it's really neat.
That's fascinating.
To add a little bit of a different element to it.
Yeah, and I remember seeing some of that stuff because they've done some exhibition matches with people like
they did BlizzCon,
BlizzCon and stuff where they had the 3 of them play. They all got a single deck, but 3 people had to basically play, and then there was one person who basically got to overrule. But yeah, they've done some stuff. I don't know. That game is. I want that game to dominate, so I'm super happy. Like, I love Hearthstone.
Okay,
I'll take it.
You guys can both have this. Okay, so obviously the reason I know you is because you co-host literally my favorite podcast. Well, second favorite, West Wing Weekly, but that's only it's.
It was. But what happened
so close.
in the last 20 minutes?
I forgot about the West Wing Weekly, but honestly, doesn't matter. But tell us about the podcast. How you guys got started, where you're going now. Like, give us the deets. What people can expect if they listen, and they aren't just me who's sitting there, obviously drinking and listening on the way to and from work.
The show's called Nerf This, although we may rebrand here soon because we are owned by E-League, and things are up in the air. We're changing. Things are changing. So yeah, it's at nerfthis.gg or at Nerf This Crew if you want to hit us up on Twitter. It's a weekly show covering esports, everything from the businesses side of things to if we do attend a tournament, we kind of go a little bit down the rabbit hole and talk about like exactly what happened and so on and so forth. Again, there's Brian and Jules helps out. We also do a daily show now called Esports Daily.
Which is also on your, it's an Alexa, whatever you call it.
So it's like 2 to 3 minutes every day of just kind of run down the latest news. That's been great. It's been a really cool thing for us, and we get to talk about a lot more esports, and in that sense.
I mean, you still bring a lot of Hearthstone in. Let's be clear.
I'm the Hearthstone nerd. Yeah. I cut. We have to end up cutting like Hearthstone from this show like almost every time because I'll just we have to keep it to like 1 hour to an hour and a half. But yeah, so we started off. We were originally on Bleacher Report when they dove into esports. They kind of sort of exited, although they're kind of back in it again. They kind of wavered.
The app is still there, but like.
Yeah, but Alex over there is doing a lot of good work to keep it alive and going.
Yeah.
And so, and then during that time when our contracts were up, we were at Season 2 of E-League, the finals.
Yeah.
And
oh, yes, of course. Was that Astralis' year? No, that was Cloud9. Optic.
That was
I
Optic.
got there
Yeah.
eventually.
It's
all right.
She's got her usual. I just say Team Liquid most of the time, and that always gets me in.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. And
Yeah.
CS:GO,
And Dota, quite
And
honestly.
Dota, yeah.
Like,
Well,
whatever.
except I don't know if they're going to do it this year. They lost Miracle.
But yeah, so they were like, the entire crew was like, we listen to you all the time. We love your stuff. And they just basically said, what do you need to keep the show going? We're like, this is what we've been doing. And they're like, cool, done. And they've been hands off, which is great. So they don't
That's awesome.
influence
That's the
our
best way it should be.
content, nothing. So,
And obviously also biased about E-League, but I'm a big fan of both E-League and you guys' podcast, and it's awesome. You guys should absolutely listen to it, because the other thing is that while you do absolutely go through some of the wins and losses and some of that kind of stuff, the commentary that you and Brian have about the scene in general is really intriguing. Like, it's really one of those things where if you need to hear, like I said earlier, thoughtful commentary, super useful, because there's a lot of talking heads, there's a lot of yelly stuff. Almost did it.
She caught herself.
I get
It's
called.
Can we get
It's
some,
called
Can we get some
growth.
hashtag Cape hype in the
Growth.
channel? I'd like to see some hashtags.
I'm just saying, it's one of those things where when I want to hear about a thing that's like blowing up the scene, I always like to hear the commentary you guys have, because you look at it from the number of angles that I would appreciate as a viewer and a listener and a fan.
Thank you.
Speaking of fans, you're welcome.
was a good
This is my last thing, because I actually because I heard we know why you like Hearthstone, and I think you've already mentioned a bit, but like, give me the elevator pitch. If someone's like, convince me that Hearthstone is a thing, or digital card games. I don't know if you're into Gwent. Like,
Oh, please.
just do me the solid of just
Pokemon.
like
It's
condense.
Pokemon
I've seen the passion and I hear it every week, but just condense that for me. Like, why is it delight your digits?
Time's up. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. it boils down a lot to just the strategy element of it. And as someone who is constantly looking, like I said, like min-max their way through everything, like even playing World of Warcraft and during raiding times, it was like, how do I modify the armor, my gear to match my play style and do the best I can? And I did it competitively.
We really need a priest.
Yeah, right. And so I did play a healer.
There you go.
But
you seem like a support class.
right.
I feel like I don't need to be here. That's fine.
So anyways, no, I think largely it is a strategy element to it. It on the surface it doesn't necessarily look too competitive or too in depth, but it really is, because the entire time you're thinking about how to play your cards around their win condition and whatever. And so even if you're a big fan of any kind of board game or whatever, like you generally will find something you love about Hearthstone. It's worth playing, and one of these days I'll get you playing.
Yeah, why don't we actually? I think
Let's
we
do
should.
it.
I think Kate and I should do an LFG with us
just
playing some
play
Hearthstone. No,
Hearthstone.
I mean, why not? I mean,
Why
honestly,
not?
I think you'd actually end up having a really good time. I think it's one of those things. It's actually really easy to understand. It's hard to master. But the other thing too is like we both start with some starter decks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I'll
and
take a
as long
starter
as you
deck.
play a warrior and I play a mage, it'll be fine.
There's a lot of good like content creators out there, like Chump HS plays these kind of
Oh,
off
Trump,
the
yes.
Well, Trump is good, but there's another guy called Chump HS who
I
plays
think
these
it's
kind of like non-meta, like tries to take the worst cards in the meta and make decks around them just to surprise people and have fun with it, and really does a great job. Like I watch it repeatedly. Trollden's another one for like funny moments too. So
And I was
good
thinking of
stuff.
Trump just as learning, because Trump
Yeah,
just
Trump
does,
is great
Trump
for
does
learning.
really the best job of like you can just watch and he explains everything.
Yeah.
He has probably some of the best like training YouTube videos out there. I also really dig Kip. Like Kip is like a hell of a lot of fun to watch. Dude streams like 50 bajillion hours. You can always catch him.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of catching people, I want to make sure that people can catch you, Seven. Where can they find you? We've already mentioned nerfthis.gg.
Yep.
And
The
Nerf
show
This,
is at Nerf This Crew. on Twitter, and I myself is xSeven, xSeven, just like the number and the name.
There we go.
And the name.
Yeah.
Seven, you're a delight.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you coming all the way
nice
down
to meet you.
here.
Nice meeting you as
Yeah.
well.
And
say hi to Billy. Say hi to the Rosens. Say hi to Alex.
I'll try
Yeah.
not to knock over any
no,
lights.
exactly. We're gonna actually just we're gonna do upcoming tournaments because we've actually gotten to the end of our show. Is that correct, Lennox?
What?
This is what happens when we have somebody we like talking
Let's
to.
go another hour.
There's
Shout
also
out.
1,600 of you enjoy talking to him too. So how's about that?
And you did a really good job of staying right in the V. Like, I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, us floating heads
Right.
over here, just
I'm
just
knocking
gonna
over
go
lights. I
over
don't know
there.
what you're talking about.
Well, hey, if you want to stick up here while we talk about upcoming that's totally fine with me.
Sure, why not?
That's why not. In fact, we'll even let you read it at
Yeah,
some
well,
point.
no,
yeah,
no.
right there.
Here, why don't you
Hey,
read it down?
you know what you're
I'm
doing.
horrible at teleprompters.
Well, you're about to get better.
Yeah.
How's
All right.
about it? Here we go.
All right,
We're training
so-
you too.
All right, remember, folks, upcoming tournaments is all about finding out about the need-to-know competitions happening in the near future.
Absolutely. Now, for those tournaments that are on Mixer platform, are a part of Mixer Esports, follow the channel to get a notification when they go live.
Now
First
for
up.
CVR World Cup. Thank you so much. Oh, is it him? You want
No,
me to
no,
go?
go.
No,
I'm done.
you got this.
I'm done.
Thank you for joining us earlier today to talk about CVR World Cup.
Yes,
This
thank you,
weekend
Frank.
marks the start of the physical spring season finals in Vancouver, Canada, and it starts at mixer.com/CVR World Cup. See how it's all one word, World Cup? At 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Time to crown the winner of spring. This is a different twist on our regular
season.
esports coverage as it involves people riding physical bikes represented by virtual avatars that compete against one another. That is right. I am telling you, it is physical.
Yes.
So once you watch, you are sure to be hooked. So
I
tune
am.
in this Saturday and Sunday for the epic competition.
Absolutely.
Now we're talking about Hearthstone.
This feels like
Hearthstone.
you're made for this.
Hearthstone.
Oh, so I can just say...
yeah, that's
all
you.
right. And thanks to another interview we had today, we know about the Hearthstone Summer Championships
Because
happening
of
next
him.
weekend in California. 16 players from around the globe will descend on the Blizzard Arena in LA and Burbank, California, from June 28th through July 1st for the 2018 Hearthstone Championship. Again, competing for their fair share of
sorry.
$250,000. We're both doing it.
There's a lot of money.
I'm intentionally not going big because I feel like we may break the planet if there's too much moving. So
So it's $250,000 and a seat at the HCT World Championship, which is even more money.
Huge, big.
In the end, 4 groups with a player from each region will compete until only 8 remain. Tune in next weekend and find out who will win it at playhearthstone.com/esports.
Yeah, and I just at that arena. You've already also been to the Blizzard Arena. I know you've been to the Blizzard Arena.
I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna try and go next weekend. I
Nice.
think I'm gonna head down and go check that out because I'd love to watch me some Hearthstone stuff.
And
so
there
I'm
it
gonna
is.
Make that happen.
Absolutely. And finally, we have a local Seattle event happening this weekend, June 23rd and 24th in Tukwila, Washington. It's called the Northwest Majors X10. Is it 10?
I don't
Or is
know.
it X? Northwest Majors. They're taking place in a variety of games from Street Fighter, Tekken 7, Dragon Ball Fighters, Skullgirls, and much, much more. There's still time to register if you're local, so head on over to northwestmajors.com for more details on how to enter. Friend of the show. Love those guys. They're great.
And guess what? We will be right here every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern on this channel, mixer.com/thisweekinesports. Be sure to watch our past episodes right below on our channel page and follow us on Twitter at WatchMixer for updates on the show and to know what is happening in the wide world of esports.
It's true. And listen, tune in to #Esports Weekend on mixer.com/channel1 this weekend starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's 8 a.m. Pacific this Saturday with a repeat of this very episode so you can see this train wreck all over again. Then it's the CVR World Cup event to showcase. At 1 p.m. we'll be showing the Crew 2 King of the Road Trip event. Make sure you tune into that. You're going to enjoy that a lot, especially if you're into racing games or the Crew Original, sandboxes, and the wide, wide world of esports.
But that's not all.
What's
Then
more?
on Sunday, we'll come back to showcase the epic conclusion of the CVR World Cup. Sweat all over the place. Make sure to check out mixer.com/channel1 for the full schedule of our show. Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Everybody.
And
for watching.
exactly.
And make sure you should follow our
Oh,
channel.
leaderboards.
Oh, we have leaderboards. Oh.
Sorry, let's see who won.
Who won? Who won? Who was the winner?
Malik, your number 4, Smurf69, and more importantly,
Yardorix.
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 Huzzah! Well done. Also,
Congratulations.
Smurf69, well done.
There we go. Yard
And Flip
art.
Solo coming in hot.
Congratulations. You
Couldn't
win.
help but notice Linux's name not on there.
You respect. Yeah, Linux still not on there.
Still, that's
I
just
thought he was a pro. I guess he is a no. Thanks for watching, everybody. Follow the channel. I'm fired. Follow the channel so you get a notification when we go live next week.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.